On the mic with Pavani J.
Take a listen on the mic with Pavani J.
No filter, no fluff, all facts. On the mic with Pavani J. No filter, no fluff, all facts.
On the mic with Pavani J.
Share your expertise, life experiences, tips, focus on education, empowering, and entertaining. On the mic with Pavani J.
Hey, welcome to On the Mic with Pavani J, right here on JQLM Radio, a division of E.G.O Entertainment Network. Nothing but mic drop moments, no filter, no fluff, all facts. We want to give a huge shout out and thank you to partners and sponsors of JQLM Radio and On the Mic. Before we get started, I want to share all the ways you can tune in to JQLM Radio so that you can share with your family, friends, and followers.
If you'd like to share with your family, friends, and followers on all the different ways that they can tune in to JQLM Radio, this is what you would share. You can tune in live by downloading the JQLM Radio app on your Apple or Android devices. You can also listen live via Alexa, the TuneIn app, the Simple Radio app, and a host of other platforms of which you can find on our website, where you can also listen live at egoentertainmentnet.com/JQLM-radio. Or just visit egoentertainmentnet.com and click the button right there on the homepage. You can also connect with us via our website or social media at JQLM Radio. That's on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Additionally, you can email us at jqlmradio@gmail.com. Find us under our parent company, E.G.O Entertainment Network, on social media at E.G.O ENTNET. That's E.G.O EntNet. You can also follow us on LinkedIn at E.G.O Entertainment Network. And last but not least, make sure you like, subscribe, and share our YouTube channel, E.G.O TV Network.
Thank you, Lady J, for telling them how to tune in. Okay, everybody, let's get into it. This week's topic is all about Lady J, the bounce backology queen, is a media mogul, award-winning speaker, author, community leader, and a resilient expert. She is the founder of E.G.O Entertainment Network, Bounce Backology LLC, Life Support Company LLC, and No Limit Ministries Incorporated. Her powerhouse initiatives, including the Bounce Backology program, Business Bangers, the Business Community Service Leadership Academy, which is CSLA, and the Re-Up Experience. Equip others to overcome adversity, build impactful brands, and transform communities. Lady J is a life support for purpose-driven comeback stories worldwide. Honey J, and we have Lady J in the building of E.G.O Entertainment. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, girl?
Nothing. We got so much to talk about, right? So this is where I want to start off. You got the spark and you got a big empire over there. I know people know about you, people have heard about you, and if they haven't, we're gonna hope that they find out who you are today. Let me know what's going on. You got an organization, a nonprofit organization. What was the original spark that pushed you to create all these platforms?
Well, our very first platform is the nonprofit organization that serves homeless and families in need, and that was birthed out of my own struggles, my own life experiences, and being in those shoes, and just something that God placed on my heart and told me, that was my ministry and that was my purpose for Him allowing me to go through those things, and that led to me writing my book, my first two books, which is my life story. I didn't do the third installment of that yet, which is the finale of my story, but he had me write those first 2 books, and I wrote them in 2 weeks. Because it was like
Mm.
therapy for me. So it was part of my healing process that he had me go through. That was in 2010 when I started all of those things. And then he wanted me to release that. And I was like, Jesus, I know you lying.
Right.
Release it to who? I don't want people to know this about me. Like, what they gonna think? What they gonna say? And so I wrestled with him for 5 years. I did not release the first one until 2015, and I wrote it in 2010. And so I
Wow.
learned that obedience is better than sacrifice. And he definitely allowed, I'll say, me to see new gifts in me and new purpose, unlock new purpose, because singing is my first love. I love to sing. I grew up in a family full of singers and musicians, and I did not know that I would be called to speak, and that
Mm.
speaking would be, I'll say, birthed out of my pain, which was turned into my purpose and
Okay.
ultimately driven by my testimony. So yeah, that's how that first platform came about.
Okay. Okay. And so that first platform, we talking about purpose. You just said purpose. You said it twice. So I know that's meaningful to you. So we got purpose, and that's versus platforms. You've managed to merge purpose with power, creating spaces for independent voices, faith-based creators without watering down messages. That's what we all know. How do you keep that balance between business with a divine assignment?
Well, God, it's a constant reminder. Hey, my life experiences are constant reminders that I am not who I am or what I am or where I am by myself. So for me, it keeps me humble. It keeps my spirit of humility intact. When I wrote the book and I released my story, I was crucified. Oh my God, I was crucified and ridiculed by my relatives, for telling my story. And I was called all kind of things, even a liar and all this other kind of stuff. However, all it did was fuel more sales. So
Mm.
it was free advertised, and I didn't have to. I learned then that I didn't have to fight for me; that he would do it for me, and that me me not being silent anymore opened the ultimate level of liberty for me, because there is there's a power in being totally free. And when you are totally free, you don't care what people think, what they have to
Come
say,
on.
or anything. And then I realized that there's an envy that comes with that too from other people, because they wish that they didn't have any skeletons in the closet, that they're scared about somebody busting open. I don't have that
Mhm.
hanging over my head. And so it also allowed me to be able to move forward in life. It opened another level of being able to forgive at a faster rate, of extending grace, you know what I'm saying, to other people, to being able to see with eyes that most people can't see with. And so that led to people wanting to interview me, all different kind of platforms, TV, radio, magazine, podcast, everything. So, and when that door became unlocked, and then that led to me ultimately speaking to hundreds and then thousands of young people and adults in colleges and jails and all kind of stuff, it started to birth like a really strong spirit of humility in me, because when you realize the power behind the magnitude of what you've been called to do, it can be scary, but it's also humbling.
Okay. All right, let me ask you this question then. Because what we do know is that you dominate and you rock in the gospel industry, but not only in the gospel industry, because you do deal with R&B artists, so on and so forth.
Hmm.
All the industries that you worked in, and I'm pretty sure there's been multiple over the years. Um, when the industry tries to pull you in different directions like hip hop, R&B, and not just your radio segment, because you do have, like we said, JQLM radio, and this is the platform that we're on. The preference of being in the gospel industry opposed to hip hop, or opposed to sports and news, or opposed to, you know, criminal crime news. There's so many different niches that you could have joined, where you stomp down and you soar in. How do you feel when the directions are pulled, and what made you say, okay, this is the direction I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna stay in?
Because it's the direction that God has me in. Everything that I do now, only what you do for Christ will last, and I live by that. Especially, I'm probably jumping ahead, but there was something that happened to me aside from the things that that I've experienced in my younger years, and me, you know, not really, not really. I shouldn't be here, that several times over, but I experienced something in 2019 that really put things into perspective for me, and realizing that I don't want to do anything else outside of what he's called me to do, because in his will is the safest place in the whole wide world. And in the gospel industry is where he has me at concerning media. And the marrying the word of God with real life experience and practical tools along with kingdom business, you got a win-win situation. And so there are so many
Period.
people in those sectors, and I'm not saying just in the gospel industry, but in business, you know what I'm saying? People that deal with mental health or whatever the case may be, people who do events. I don't care if it's just entertaining or if there is some kind of message or substance behind it. He had me start the platform, the media platform. I don't even want to be in media. I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. But it wasn't about what I wanted. It was about him using the platform to multiply voices who have something of substance to say and it's something impactful to say. And at the same time, also providing a platform where people can entertain, but it not be, I say, in a negative light, if you will. So he put me on a path that most would not travel, because most people, when you think about businesses like that, you think about money, money, money. Well, I don't chase money, I chase purpose. And with purpose, the money will come. It chases you. And so, and I don't do it for that. I do it because I really care about the people and I care about walking in my purpose. So I don't want to leave here and still be full. I want to leave here on empty. And so even though I'm pulled in other directions, I don't have a problem with saying no. By understanding that every opportunity is not necessarily my opportunity.
Period. And I agree with that. And I know that so many people on so many levels probably can relate, who have had those life-threatening experiences, to where the switch comes on. Some people go back, and some people, go back to whatever after everything is okay. But then there's some of us who is shooken up enough to where we are like, you when you think you moving and you think you getting ahead and you think you're going somewhere, and something like that happens, and then don't nothing else matter, you know, except for doing what you were supposed to do when you said, okay, I'm okay with coming down here and doing my job for humanity, what have not. And you find yourself going through multiple things in life, really preparing you for the mission. You know what I mean? Because you wouldn't know how to handle those things, like you said, when you were going through what you were going through to make the nonprofit in 2010. And these are the things behind the scenes that people don't know about you. So what I'm gonna say is that this is what I found, Bobby. Just because I know you, just because I've been around, I'm on the team and all those things, I know that you're a media mogul and a boss, and a woman who breaks barriers, because we've been doing this for a little while now. So I remember when I met you on the cane, and I watched you multiply everything that you have, maybe not where it was, but it's going to go so far past there. TV segments, making movies, so on and so forth. what's one challenge you have overcome outside of the aneurysm in 2019 that could have taken you out? But God said it wasn't time yet. And how did that moment redefine how you move as a leader? And this is what maybe working with someone else or maybe doing a job and not being appreciated and being pat on the back or, someone showing you reciprocity.
Well, none of those things really ever take me out. But I'll say one of the biggest things that I've had to overcome outside of that is dealing with wolves in sheep's clothing.
Mm. Mm-mm.
I did deal with one wolf in sheep clothing. Now I saw, if you will, the eyes and the nose, if you will, but it wasn't until later on that the full wolf was revealed to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I pay close attention, and when I see something that don't look quite right or sound quite right, I'm on alert. And I'll
Okay.
play along or play dumb, you know, until I can figure. I'm one of those people who needs to understand things and see things and why this is, and so it definitely put me in position to, let's see, experience a enormous financial setback, if you will,
Mm.
after I had worked so hard with getting myself and all of my platforms up to where, not necessarily where they were before the aneurysm, but almost there. I was so close. And so it set me back a little bit, but God is good because he still provided and he still made things happen, and I thank God for the experience, because a lot of things may not have been revealed that needed to be revealed had it not happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it also blessed me in the process. So it was actually a blessing in disguise because I got new people added to the team out of that. I received new clients out of that. So it was definitely a blessing in disguise too. So we may not necessarily understand why God allows things to happen. However, I also recognized my own participation in that situation. That's something that a lot of people don't do because we always like to blame the devil on everything. Or blame everything on the devil. We don't never want to take responsibility for our own role in
Right.
certain situations and issues. Because again, I said earlier that not every opportunity is your opportunity. And I have I'm just speaking for me. I have a propensity to take on things that God didn't tell me to, just because I can do it, or just because I'm a giver, I'm a helper by nature. And if I see a need and I see who this person needs help, I can help you. And it's without thinking. Without asking all the time, well, God, is this something you want me to do? And so that's where I went wrong.
It's time for a music and commercial break. Stay locked in. Don't touch that dial. You're tuned in to On the Mic with Pavani J right here on JQLM Radio.
Welcome to the Gallery Event Center. My name is Richard, and we're located on the north side of Indianapolis in the Castleton area. We can be reached at 317-534-6399, or you can visit us at our website at www.thegalleryeventcenter.com. Also on Instagram at The Gallery Event Center. We specialize in birthdays, baby showers, weddings, and even family get-togethers. So come see us and book your event today.
If you haven't subscribed to the hottest bi-monthly digital interactive magazine yet, what are you waiting for? E.G.O magazine features beauty, fashion, entertainment, celebrity and indie artist highlights, relationship tips, business, and more. Subscribe for free now at www.egoentertainmentnet.com. Need a print copy? Order yours today. E.G.O magazine.
Music, Dynamic World by Diamond Tunes on Pixabay.com.
You are tuned in to JQLM Radio, real voices, raw entertainment, and relevant topics.
But
Okay.
because he's a faithful God, he still brought me out of it, and he still
Amen.
came to
And
my
in an
rescue.
expedient manner.
Yes, to my rescue.
That's one thing that I can say about the Holy Spirit and God. Um, Not even just being a child of God, sometimes I've seen him show up for people who may not pray that much, but he'll show up faithfully every time just so he can make his mark and that they'll know that God is who he says he is. That's one thing that his word never fails. We know this. But I've seen in
And you just
myself.
said somebody that may not pray that much. Huh, but you don't know who's praying for them either.
You don't know. You don't know. That's why they say I had a praying grandmother. That's the
Uh-huh.
thing.
Yep.
You don't know. Somebody praying aunt, praying uncle, somebody is praying for them. And when you figure this part out and you watch that, what I can say is that in the years that I've known you and we've had conversations, and this is just for anybody else out there, just pay attention to the symbols and the signs because every time we step back and say, "Okay, God, something has to be revealed," because internally I feel a way. He has showed up in an expedient manner, and I really appreciate that, Lord. Thank you. Um, Sometimes, like you said, we do things without him allowing us to, or maybe sometimes you might be thinking you're doing the right thing and you don't know that it's not on the path, but it's a little lesson in there that has to be learned. You know what I mean? Whether it be praying more, being still more, not moving so fast, whatever the case may be. I can say that God has been good, and it's in the goodness of the Lord that whatever we do prospers, whether it's good or whether it wasn't on that agenda. He shows up when he needs to, when you have favor and grace. um and so what I want to talk about is these beautiful pictures, these the beautiful ensemble that they put together for the Spin Awards. And let's talk about it. The major events, your national spotlight, huge energy was in the building, is what I saw. What was that experience? What did that experience teach you about faith-based media? And how do you see it shifting the culture for artists?
Well, faith-based media is something. Let me tell you something. It's exciting to be in the presence of other believers who use their gifts and talents to amplify not only the message of Jesus Christ and those who spread the gospel through their different talents, but just the energy. The energy is different. When I'm in a room of, let's say, hip hop artists, or if I'm on a movie set or something like that, it's not that those people don't believe in God or they're not believers. It's the reason why we are there and the message behind it. The energy and the atmosphere is just different. I feel like I'm being rejuvenated, if you will.
Yes.
But don't get me wrong, the different events and projects that I'm a part of that aren't quote unquote faith based, if you will, or that's at the core of what we're doing, I still have fun. I still enjoy myself. I still enjoy a lot of them, the company that I'm in. However, it's different when Jesus visits the room. And
Hmm.
that happens every time at the spinner. I mean, we have fun, we dance, we vibe, you praising, you worshiping, you out doing all kind of stuff. I mean, you got hip hop, quartet, all kind of stuff, radio, promoters. You have different artists there. It's just goes on and on and on, and it's something for everybody. There's knowledge being given through panel discussions and workshops, and I mean, you just get filled to capacity. You know what I'm saying? And then
Mhm.
don't let somebody win an award. They get up there and they get to ministering and prophesying to the people in the room. You know what I'm saying? And encouraging those who are spinning the gospel, or those who are working on behalf of the artist or whatever. So you come and you get filled up versus putting out. Because when I'm in those other rooms, I'm putting out usually. You know what I'm saying? So it's nice to be in a room where you can come and get poured back into. And
Yes.
so, and how do I see it? You said shifting the culture.
Yes, for the culture. Mm-hmm.
Well, in today's age, we see media being used as a tool to push the negative more than positive. If
Mm-hmm.
you're on social media, for instance, that is a form of media. If you notice, bad news and foolishness it goes viral quicker
Faster.
than good news or something amazing that somebody is doing. It gets pushed faster, right?
Mm-hmm.
But somebody put something positive out or doing an amazing thing, they may get 3 likes or 300 likes versus 30,000 or 3 million, which is crazy work to me. Like, we are literally a society that thrives off of the downfall and off of the horror of other people. What
Yes.
does that say about who we are at our core? What does that say about our hearts? Because God looks at your heart. What does that say
Yeah.
about us? You know
As
what
a
I'm saying?
culture. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. As a culture and as a society. And as far as the culture of African American people though, it pains me being somebody who grew up feeling in a lot of pain, emotionally and mentally. And, you know, when I had my own children, I told myself that they would not suffer in the way that I did. And even if they couldn't go anywhere else and get what they needed emotionally and mentally and socially, to add to whatever I was giving, they was gonna get it from me. You know what I'm saying? They were
Mm-hmm.
gonna get it from
Mm-hmm.
me. So when you see a lot of people out here suffering out loud and in silence, and we laugh at those things, or we use that as a way to make a name for ourselves or make money. You know what I'm saying? That irritates my soul. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It literally irritates my soul. And so this realm of media, it can change the culture because if more of us, if more of us would use our voices to amplify the lessons in those things
Mm-hmm.
and the what do I want to say? Not just the lessons of those things, but also the goodness, you know what I'm saying, that most people won't talk about or most people won't won't amplify, then maybe we can create change, you know what I'm saying, within our society and in our culture. Because somebody has to do it. And if you lead by example, those who start to see the impact that it has, then maybe others will follow.
Okay. I totally agree. It's really. I went to an event not too long ago. And it was a Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. They were putting something together. I got a friend by the name of Omar Velez. He invited me out and he said, "Why don't you bring, your media and come on out and just interview us and talk to us or just hang out if you want to." And just to see that there was, not saying that it happens all the time, not saying that this isn't there, it was just so much, so it was so good. And I'm not saying that, but the energy in the air that was put together by these three amazing women that he had behind him. They were the movers and the shakers, you
Hmm.
know. Um, and well, obviously we connected for further events and so on and so forth. But just seeing how they weren't stepping on each other's toes, going over each other, trying to put somebody down, the person who may not know the most, but's in the front line that's probably training or learning, wouldn't being talked about or treated or pushed back, or just the things that we do as a culture is sickening to me.
Hmm.
It's really bad. It's really, and this is not just, they say Chicago or Indiana, Gary. No, 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 no. This is worldwide. This is nationwide, and I just know that we've got to look foolish to the people overseas,
Hmm.
because it just doesn't make any sense to me. So I totally agree with you on that. I want to take you one more place, just to give you a little bit of time just to think about what you've done thus far. Every time people think you've done it all, Every time, we think we've done it all. Like I've done it all. You pop out with something new. What's next for EGO Entertainment? Any new shows, partnerships, or moves we should be watching for, especially for the Don't Give Up tour? I know that's coming. It's already moving, but next year you'll be in Chicago on the 21st, 2025. Y'all check out, we'll look for the billboards, so on and so forth. And we'll talk about that later. But what's going on? What's next for EGO Entertainment?
Well, like you said, we have the Don't Give Up tours going on. We already did Beaufort, South Carolina, and Indianapolis. So we have Chicago next, and then we'll be headed to Kansas City, Missouri after that. And then we'll be headed to Atlanta, Georgia. And then we'll be headed over to, I believe, Florida, Orlando, Florida, and then to Birmingham, Alabama. And we may be adding 2 more stops. So that I'm loving, and people are enjoying the message of Don't Give Up, as well as we have the E.G.O Entertainment, of course, is a proud media partner of the Re-Up. So the National Re-Up Experience, that's coming in the spring of next year. So that's coming up in a few months. And, we will be doing we recently did launch our television network, and we will be doing a major campaign about that soon and adding the rest of our E.G.O original content. So, we'll be releasing more E.G.O original content here this fall and at the start of the year. And yeah, looking forward to partnering on more projects. We'll also be doing the casting next year in the fall for I Survived Suicide Volume 2. And
Okay.
and yeah, so those are just some of the things coming up, for E.G.O, as well as we've revamped, our JQLM radio station, and we've launched our sister station, WLGG Radio, a full gospel station. So yeah, it's a lot coming up. So, you know, people can always go and subscribe for free on our website so they can stay in the know.
Okay, then. All right, then. Let the people know where to go, who to call, what to say, what to do when they call.
I mean, egoentertainmentnet.com, egoentertainmentnet.com. You can't go wrong. Just go and subscribe for free. All of our information is there, how to call us, how to email us. You can apply right online for just about everything. And if you're not sure, then you can just go to our contact form on there and fill that out.
All righty.
So,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was saying that's what, I'm saying that's what's up. What's next for E.G.O.
All righty, you guys. You heard her yourself. That's Lady J of E.G.O Entertainment. You guys, we'll be back in 2 and 2. Talk to you in a second.
Are you in need of a fresh perspective on relationships, wholeness, love, and transformation? Or are feeling consumed with hurts from the past and finding it difficult to overcome traumatic events? Well, contact licensed marriage and family therapist Sharon Mason of Love That Relationship. She can get you back on the road to building a healthy and loving relationship with yourself and others. Love That Relationship. The Jeremiah L. Godfrey Brain Cancer Research Foundation is seeking donations and sponsors to help aid in its efforts to provide funding to researchers to find an effective treatment and cure for rare inoperable brain tumors in children ages 3 to 12, specifically diffuse intrinsic pontine glioma, or DIPG. DIPG is inoperable and currently has no effective treatment or cure, and those diagnosed only live for 3 to 11 months after diagnosis. For more information and to make a contribution today, visit jlgresearchfoundation.org.
Music. Corporate Rhythm by Roman Scenic Music on Pixabay.com.
Thank you again to all our sponsors and partners. Don't forget to follow me on social media at Exquisite PR, the number 4, and the letter U on all platforms. If you missed the live experience, You can catch the replay on all major podcast platforms. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, visit www.exquisite.com and complete the booking form. And don't forget to tune in to Relationshipology every second and fourth Thursday of the month at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, thank you again for tuning in to On the Mic with Pavani J. Nothing but mic drop moments, no filter, no fluff, all fact.
On the Mic with Pavani J.
Take a listen on the mic with Pavani J.
No filter, no fluff, all facts. On the mic with Pavani J. No filter, no fluff, all facts.
On the mic with Pavani J.
Share your expertise, life experiences, tips, focus on education, empowering, and entertainment. On the Mic with Pavani.